As the year of 2019 comes to an end, we are looking back not only on the best pop culture moments of the year, but of the entire decade. Though looking back on things that have happened over the past year would be crazy enough. So attempting to wrap your head around the past almost 10 years seems almost impossible. Lucky for you, you don't have to do any of the legwork, we did it for you. All you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. Because we've rounded up some of the most iconic celebrity moments that have happened in the past decade, and trust me, there's a lot of them. Obviously, we can't cover every single thing that's happened in the 2010s, it's been an absolute wild ride. But we did pick out some of our favorites to share with you. Because there's really no better way to celebrate the decade than to take a trip down memory lane. So let's round them up right here on Listed. Starting way back in 2010, which honestly doesn't even feel like it was that long ago right now. Crazy, it's been a decade, and just for reference, I think we were still on the iPhone 4 back then, we still had a home button, there was no facial recognition or fancy cameras on our phones. It was a much simpler time. But it wasn't exactly simple for Lady Gaga, who wore one of her most controversial outfits ever back in 2010. She wore her now infamous meat dress, which was quite literally a dress made of raw beef, to the 2010 VMAs. Gaga wore the meat dress to accept her Video of the Year trophy for Bad Romance, and as she accepted the award from Cher, who was presenting it to her, she jokingly said, quote, "I never thought I'd be asking Cher to hold my meat purse." The dress was heavily criticized by animal rights groups, but on the other hand, it was also named the top fashion statement of 2010 by Time magazine. So yep, it definitely made waves, good or bad. Gaga later explained that the dress was a statement about needing to fight for what she believes in, and highlighted how much the US military's don't ask, don't tell policy upset her, which we fully respect, and although we don't fully understand how a meat dress symbolizes that, she's Gaga, and it was certainly an iconic moment during 2010. Another notable moment from 2010 was Hailee Steinfeld's first major movie acting role in True Grit. She was only 13 years old at the time and ended up receiving an Oscar nomination for her role as Maddie Ross. This Oscar nomination and movie shot Hailee to fame, and it's crazy to see how far she's come when you look at her career now. Actress, pop star, model, she's doing the most, and we absolutely love her. Alright, now you guys, let's move on to 2011, which was a huge year for pop culture. Honestly, this might be one of the most memorable years of all the decades, so buckle up. Game of Thrones premiered, Prince William and Kate had their royal wedding, Beyonce announced she was pregnant with Blue Ivy, and Kim Kardashian got a divorce from Chris Humphries, just to name a few. I told you, it was a crazy year. But one viral moment that we will never forget is when Rebecca Black dropped her music video for her song Friday. This happened in September of 2011, and honestly, things were never really the same since. The video currently has almost 150 million views on YouTube, and Rebecca shot to fame literally overnight.
It's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday.
The music video went viral after comedian Michael J. Nelson called it, quote, "the worst video ever made" on Twitter, and then the song was featured on the Tosh.0 blog. So while some people hated the song and the video, it's since become a cult classic, and I think you'd have a hard time finding someone who didn't at least know the words to the chorus. And once you've heard it, it's impossible to get out of your head. So credit where credit is due, Rebecca is a modern day icon, and the Friday music video will live on as one of our favorite highlights from this decade. We even got to catch up with her this year at the Streamies and chatted all about it. Let's move on to 2012, which was also a big year. We had our very first Avengers movie. Obviously, there were individual character movies before 2012, but the first Avengers was the culmination of the so-called Phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With all the main heroes having been introduced, they were all able to work together in the first joined Avengers movie, and it was the beginning of such a beautiful era. It's wild to look back on now that Avengers Endgame has come and gone, but clearly people's love for the films has only grown over time. This just makes me want to curl up and watch all the Marvel movies on my couch with a cozy blanket all over again. I wish. But you guys, Rebecca Black wasn't the only person to drop a music video that defined this decade. Can you guess what other music video dropped in 2012 that also had an iconic highlight of the 2010s? If you were thinking Psy's Gangnam Style, then you are right. While Rebecca's 150 million views on Friday is impressive, Gangnam Style currently has around 3.5 billion views. The video was released in July of 2012, and on December the 21st of 2012, it became the first YouTube video to reach 1 billion views. And in September 2012, 2012, it was recognized by Guinness World Records as the most liked video on YouTube. So yeah, talk about a defining moment of the decade. So who knows also if YouTube would be what it is today without moments like that. Psy definitely paved the way for us out there, hoping to reach 1 billion views someday. I mean, we can all dream. The song was also part of the Korean wave, which refers to the significant increase in the popularity of South Korean entertainment like K-pop music since the 1990s. And we all know in 2019 that K-pop has pretty much taken over the world. So thank you yet again for paving the way, Psy. Let's move on to 2013, shall we? Which was also a really big year. The first Frozen movie was released, Jennifer Lawrence tripped while accepting her Oscar, the Harlem Shake was a thing, Beyoncé performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, and Miley Cyrus performed at the VMAs. This was Miley's infamous VMA performance with Robin Thicke that changed pop culture forever in just 6.5 minutes. The performance was extremely scandalous and a huge shift for Miley, who was still on Hannah Montana only like a couple of years before this performance. And in case you've blocked this performance out of your head, there were dancing teddy bears, an overused foam finger, a flesh-colored bikini, some groping, and a lot of twerking. For lack of a better word, it was a hot mess, but Miley worked the negativity to her advantage. The following day, Miley tweeted saying, quote, "Smilers, my VMA performance had 306,000 tweets per minute. That's more than the Blackout or Super Bowl. Hashtag fact." So it didn't seem to bother her too much, and her career has been on the up ever since. Though I will never forget 2013 Miley because it is forever a mood. Alright you guys, now let's move on to 2014, which was a big year for Kim and Kanye. It was the year these two got married in Florence, Italy back in May 2014. Kim wore a Givenchy haute couture gown and was walked down the aisle by her stepfather Caitlyn, formerly Bruce, while the rest of her family, minus Rob, were close by as she and Kanye exchanged vows. But later that year, Kim also broke the internet with her Break the Internet paper magazine cover. Her famous backside made its latest and most jaw-dropping appearance on the cover, and everyone was shook. But nothing shook us more in 2014 than Solange and Jay-Z's elevator fight at the Met Gala. TMZ leaked elevator surveillance footage of Solange punching and kicking Jay-Z while a bodyguard tries to restrain her. Beyoncé eventually steps in between the two of them. And from that moment on, we all had one question on our minds. What was this fight about? They have since spoken out saying a variety of things, like it was a disagreement, but personally, we don't really buy any of what they've said. This 2014 moment will go down in history as one of the greatest mysteries of our generation. Whatever happened on that elevator, we will probably never really know. I mean, I could talk about that incident forever, but we don't have time for that because we need to move on to 2015. 2015 was a big year for BFFs Selena Gomez and Taylor Swift. It was the year Taylor dropped the Bad Blood music video, which was supposedly about her ongoing feud with Katy Perry. It was full of her girl squad members, and she won Video of the Year for it at the VMAs. Selena released her album Revival, which is still her most recent full album release. But don't worry, we all know we are getting Rare in January of 2020, but up until now we've only had Revival to listen to on repeat, and of course all of her latest singles. Selena also opened up about her lupus diagnosis. In 2015, Selena confirmed that she had been diagnosed with the autoimmune disease and that she had cancelled the tour and entered rehab to undergo treatment. It seems like Selena has come a really long way with her diagnosis, and we are just so happy to see her looking healthier than ever before. But one of the biggest moments of 2015 was Caitlyn Jenner's Vanity Fair cover. Caitlyn Jenner publicly came out as a trans woman in April 2015. Her new name was publicly announced in July of that year in Vanity Fair. It was the magazine's first time featuring an openly transgender woman on the cover, and it said, "Call me Caitlyn." Caitlyn also changed her Twitter handle at the time, tweeting out, quote, "I'm so happy after such a long struggle to be living my true self. Welcome to the world, Caitlyn. Can't wait for you to get to know her, me." This was an epic moment for Caitlyn and also for the LGBTQ+ community as a whole. So it will definitely go down in history as one of the biggest moments of the decade. But 2016 was a big year too. Beyonce's Lemonade album was released, Stranger Things premiered, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt broke up, and Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Oscar. But one of the biggest moments was when Kim Kardashian leaked Snapchats of Taylor Swift's phone call with Kanye West. Kanye claimed he told Taylor about her shout out in his song Famous, but she said otherwise. Kim went ahead and posted snippets of her husband's phone call with Taylor on Snapchat on July the 18th of 2016. And in response, Taylor defended herself on Instagram and asked to be excluded from this narrative. The feud between Kanye, Taylor, and Kim is kinda sorta behind us, but also still feels very present all these years later. While they've both said they are over it, we still kind of feel a little bit of tension. However, hopefully we can leave this drama in this decade. Which brings us to 2017 when Taylor dropped her Look What You Made Me Do music video, which got over 43.2 million views during its first day on YouTube, breaking the site's record for the most viewed music video in 24 hours at the time. So yeah, clearly that was a big moment of 2017. Some other notable moments were Envelope Gate at the Oscars calling the wrong name for Best Picture, Ariana Grande's benefit concert for Manchester, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's engagement, and the hashtag #MeToo movement. But I gotta say, Cardi B really won 2017. Her song Bodak Yellow was released and topped the charts. She really made waves onto the scene and hasn't looked back since. The music video for Bodak Yellow has almost 1 billion views now on YouTube. And many outlets called it the song of the year, and I definitely think it's one of the defining songs of this entire decade. You can't really think of the 2010s without thinking about Cardi B. And you can't think about Cardi B without thinking of Bodak Yellow. So there you have it, definitely a big moment from this decade, and we cannot wait to see what Cardi does in the next decade. Let's move on to 2018, which was certainly an important year in pop culture. Justin Bieber and Hailee Baldwin got engaged/married at a courthouse, Cardi B threw a shoe at Nicki Minaj, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry had their royal wedding, and Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson had their short-lived engagement. But truly nothing in 2018 beats Kylie Jenner's pregnancy/birth announcement. On February 4th, the day of the Super Bowl, Kylie dropped a video titled "To Our Daughter" on her YouTube channel, and it was the confirmation we all needed. Everyone had a pretty strong feeling that Kylie was pregnant, but this video was the first confirmation that it included the fact that Stormi had already been born, you guys. The video has almost 100 million views, and I think at least maybe 500,000 of those were from me from the second it dropped, because I could not believe my eyes. I watched it so many times, and sorry to the Super Bowl, because if the ratings were impacted in 2018, I think Kylie probably had something to do with it. Which brings us to this year, 2019. A lot has happened this year, and like I said, we could do a whole story on just that, but some of the most notable moments include when Kylie was announced as the youngest self-made billionaire, when Tristan Thompson cheated on Khloe with Jordan Woods, when Miley and Liam split, and when Taylor Swift spoke out about Scooter Braun buying the masters to her albums. And those are just a few. Like I said, a lot has happened this year, you guys, but I've got to say one of the biggest stories to come out of this year was the college admission scandal. In case you missed it, basically a bunch of parents influenced admission boards at several top universities with money, and I mean like a lot of money, and celebs got tangled up in this mess, most notably Felicity Huffman, who served her jail time, and Lori Loughlin, whose trial is still currently opened. Obviously, we've all been extremely invested because Lori Loughlin's daughter is Olivia Jade, who was part of the scandal. Before the scandal, Olivia was a YouTuber who was super involved in the YouTube community and the beauty space. Since then, Olivia has come back slowly to YouTube, but it will be interesting to see how things play out for both her and her mum in 2020. Hopefully there'll be no more college admission scandals in the next decade, but I can only imagine what scandals the 2020s will bring. But I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Which moment from the last decade is your favorite? And was it one that's on this list? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because a lot has happened in the past 10 years and we couldn't cover it all in one video, but I want to hear from you right here below. And while you're down there leaving comments, you should be sure to subscribe to Clevver News if you haven't before. Hit that subscribe button right there, and also hit the bell to be notified the second we post a new Clevver News update. After that, catch up on all the news you missed right over here. I'm Sizzle Morad. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.